Welcome back to another delightful episode on Animal Stories 1957, where we explore the funniest and most adorable moments from the animal kingdom. Today, we are diving deep into the world of classic fails, those hilarious moments when our beloved pets simply forget how to be graceful. We start with the classic miscalculation of physics, where ambition far exceeds ability, leading to some of the most memorable tumbles in history. Consider the enthusiastic dog who believes that friction is just a suggestion, running full speed ahead without considering the slippery nature of wood. The brakes are applied with full force, yet the laws of motion take over, turning a graceful run into a chaotic sliding disaster. High above the ground, this stealthy ninja prepares for a daring leap, yet convinced that he possesses the agility of a superhero in disguise. Unfortunately, gravity has other plans today, and our ninja finds himself hanging on for dear life before accepting his inevitable, slow descent. Size and shape play a crucial role in these endeavors, as this little bulldog learns that vertical leaps require more than just enthusiasm. Sometimes the target is elusive, leading to a dizzying display of circular motion that ends with the world spinning around a confused kitten. For those with shorter legs, the world is full of mountainous obstacles, and even a simple staircase can become a challenge of epic proportions. Fabric choices in the home can be treacherous, turning a routine window jump into a lesson on the lack of friction in silk. Precision is key when snacks are involved, yet this majestic wolf descendant proves that timing is a skill that still needs much practice. As the confusion that follows a missed catch is priceless, as the search begins for the treat that is literally right under his nose. Water hazards are the ultimate enemy of the feline kind, transforming a confident stroll into a wet and frantic scramble for dry land. Dignity is hard to maintain when you are soaking wet, and the look of betrayal on this cat's face says absolutely everything needed. Clean windows are a hazard for excited pups who believe the path to the outdoors is clear, leading to a sudden invisible barrier. He checks the obstacle with a quick lick, confirming that the invisible force field is indeed solid, before asking for human assistance to open it. Now we move on to the battle against inanimate objects, where our furry friends find themselves trapped by their own curiosity and bad decisions. Navigation becomes significantly harder when wearing a cardboard helmet, turning a familiar living room into a mysterious maze of bumps and obstacles. Sometimes the trap is a warm piece of clothing, offering comfort at first but quickly becoming a long, dark tunnel with no easy exit. The struggle is real as the puppy transforms into a rolling fabric creature, fighting a losing battle against the cozy embrace of the sleeve. The tail is a treacherous appendage that seems to have a mind of its own, taunting the cat into an endless cycle of pursuit. Victory is sweet until you realize that the enemy you have just bitten is actually attached to your own body, causing immediate regret. Size does not equal bravery, as demonstrated by this giant dog who is absolutely terrified of a tiny toy that moves on its own. The brave defender of the house has met his match in a battery-operated toy, proving that courage is not always measured in pounds. A simple piece of tape can disable a feline's motor functions, resulting in a hilarious dance that defies all known styles of movement. And the sticky situation escalates as the tape migrates from paw to paw, creating an endless loop of frustration for the poor little kitty. Vision is overrated according to this pug, who decides to navigate the garden using only the sonar sounds of bumping into solid objects. When the lights finally come back on, the world returns to normal, leaving the dog wondering who turned off the sun in the first place. Paper bags offer a false sense of security, promising a hiding spot but delivering a sudden and undignified exit through the bottom. Spatial awareness is tested when a dog finds the perfect stick, only to realize that horizontal objects do not fit through vertical openings. Brute force is applied where geometry is needed, as the dog insists that pushing harder will somehow make the stick pass through the gate. Blame is quickly assigned to the stick itself, for it is clearly the inanimate object's fault that it refuses to enter the yard. We all know that cats are liquid, but sometimes the container is simply too small to hold the sheer volume of fluffiness available. Now we witness the primal instincts kicking in, starting with the inexplicable and ancient feud between domestic cats and harmless green vegetables. The reaction is instantaneous and explosive, a vertical launch driven by pure panic as the vegetable is mistaken for a deadly predator. Modern appliances are the monsters of the dog world, and the roar of a vacuum cleaner is the signal to seek immediate shelter. From the safety of the bunker, insults are hurled at the noisy intruder, warning it to stay away from the precious territory. Breakfast time becomes a thriller movie when the toaster decides to strike, sending the curious inspector tumbling backward in a state of shock. The mirror test is a confusing ordeal, presenting a handsome rival who mimics every move but refuses to come out and play. Her frustration mounts as the invisible barrier prevents any physical contact, leaving the puppy to wonder why the other dog is so distant. Logic dictates that if the dog is in the front, he must be in the back, but the disappearance is a magic trick. High-definition television is too realistic for its own good, tricking the hunter into attacking a world that exists only in pixels. The prey remains unharmed and completely unaware, leaving the predator to contemplate the nature of reality and the headache he now has. When the sky gets angry, even the biggest giants turn into babies, seeking comfort in a lap that is clearly too small for them. Balloons are fun until they explode, transforming a playful moment into a heart-stopping event that results in maximum fur expansion. Retreat is the only option, and from the safety of the shadows, the survivor watches and waits for the dangerous balloon to return. Social etiquette is important. Yet even when the stranger you are greeting is made of solid stone and has been standing there for decades, when conversation fails, standard protocol requires a sniff test, but the results are confusingly scentless, and the stranger remains rudely silent. Now we explore the complex dynamic between species, where patience is tested and personal space is a concept that is frequently violated. Sometimes the retaliation is unintentional, as a simple yawn can be terrifying enough to dethrone the annoying bully from his high perch. Teamwork makes the dream work, unless you are these two, where coordination fails and the race ends in a tangled heap of limbs. Affection can be easily misunderstood in the animal world, turning a tender moment of grooming into a slap fight in the blink of an eye. Stealth is not a strong suit for everyone, especially when you believe that hiding your nose means your entire body has become invisible. The tale always tells the truth, giving away the hiding spot with its happy rhythm, ruining the illusion of being a stealthy ninja. Free transportation is great until the vehicle decides to move, turning a comfortable ride into a sudden slide onto the hard floor. Traffic jams happen even in the kitchen, as two stubborn pets refuse to yield, resulting in a deadlock at the tiny exit. Dreams can be powerful, causing a sleeping dog to continue his chase in the real world, only to be stopped by a wall. Identity theft is a serious crime, especially when a bird steals your voice and sends you on a wild goose chase around the house. The realization dawns slowly, leaving the dog to question everything he knows about biology and who is actually a good boy. The trap is sprung by the victim himself, who is now wandering the room as a moving box, hidden from the outside world. It is a ghost in the machine, or rather a cat in a box, in navigating blindly and creating a poltergeist effect in the room. The garden hose is a formidable opponent that fights back with a relentless stream, yet the dog refuses to surrender the battle. Technology has finally found its purpose, serving as a personal chariot for the household ruler to inspect his domain without moving a paw. Even royal transport has its bumps, but the king holds on tight, refusing to let a minor collision ruin his majestic ride. White fur is a magnet for mud, and it takes only seconds for a pristine cloud to transform into a happy, dirty disaster. Love is blind, but the owner is not, fleeing in terror from the approaching mud monster who just wants to share his happiness. The digital age brings new frustrations, as the fish swims safely behind the glass, immune to the sharp claws of the hunter. Investigative skills are put to the test. But the mystery of the two-dimensional fish remains unsolved, leaving the detective baffled. The cone of shame adds width to the dog, a fact he constantly forgets as he crashes his way through the house. Dinner time becomes a puzzle of geometry, requiring advanced maneuvering to bypass the plastic shield that stands between him and his meal. Optimism is high, but the waistline is wide, leading to a humiliating moment where the fence refuses to accommodate the extra fluff. With a final burst of effort, freedom is achieved, though the landing leaves much to be desired in terms of grace. The frisbee is a tricky target, and sometimes instead of a glorious catch, you get a plastic slap to the face. Confidence is key, and he returns with the prize, pretending that the faceplant was actually part of his brilliant strategic plan. It was meant to be a graceful balance act, but it turned into a skydive into a pile of dirty laundry. And if you fall, just pretend you meant to do it. He settles in comfortably, claiming the laundry basket as his new throne. The descent looks terrifying from the top, a mountain that is too steep for tiny legs and a brave but cautious heart. Innovation saves the day as he invents a new method of travel, sliding down safely on his belly like a furry sled. The calibration was off, the gears were in reverse, and the mighty hunter launches himself away from the prey in a confusing maneuver. Excavation is messy work, and this enthusiastic digger is learning that what goes up must come down, often right into your eyes. A little sand cannot stop the mission. He clears his snout and resumes the search for buried treasure with renewed vigor. Hydration is a complicated process when you refuse to use a bowl, leading to a wet head and a still thirsty cat. The plumbing is clearly defective, spraying water everywhere except into the mouth, as earning a glare of disapproval from the wet customer. The butterfly remains elusive, dancing just out of reach, while the dog performs an acrobatic flop onto the soft summer grass. It is a battle of gentle paws, a slow-motion dance where no one actually wants to fight, but they must maintain appearances. Drifting requires skill and tires, neither of which this dog possesses, resulting in a soft crash landing into the cushion barrier. The climb was going well until the equipment malfunctioned, leaving the little mountaineer stranded halfway up the Denim Mountain. Rescued from the cliff face, the adventurer wastes no time in finding a new peril, completely undeterred by the previous failure. If I fits, I sits is the motto, even if fitting is a generous description for this giant overflowing the tiny bed. The rightful owner of the bed stares in disbelief, as silently judging the giant intruder who has claimed the tiny throne. Living on the edge carries risks, and this acrobat finds himself in a precarious position, swinging like a pendulum. Buoyancy makes diving difficult, as the fluffy rear end refuses to sink, keeping the diver bobbing on the surface. Dreams can be dangerous when you sleep on a ledge, and gravity provides a rude awakening for the slumbering feline. Recovery is instant. He stretches with elegance, convincing us all that this was a planned dismount and not a clumsy fall. He aims for a soulful wolf howl but ends up sounding like a squeaky toy, failing to harmonize with the siren. The shadow boxer fights a formidable opponent who anticipates every move, creating an endless battle against his own silhouette. Barriers meant for insects are no match for a dog in a hurry, who decides to take the door with him. Yet he wears the destruction like a badge of honor, completely unaware that he has just created a home improvement project. The hammock looked inviting, but structural integrity was lacking, leading to a sudden drop and a very confused passenger. Catching snowflakes is a magical but frustrating game, as the prize vanishes the moment it is caught, leaving only a cold sensation. The cold white powder is deeply offensive to the cat, who walks as if navigating a field of lava, disgusted by every step. Extreme sports are not for everyone, and this skater boy realizes too late that he does not know how to steer. It is a literary disaster as the cat triggers a chain reaction, creating a domino effect that leaves the library in ruins. Chaos is comfortable, apparently, as the architect of destruction decides that the pile of fallen knowledge makes a perfect bed. Relaxation is impossible when a clumsy dog joins the hammock, turning a peaceful afternoon into a tumbling circus act. But in the end, the fall is worth it for the laughter and the cuddles that follow on the safety of the ground. These moments of failure are fleeting, but they remind us that nobody is perfect, not even our graceful four-legged friends. Even in their sleepiest moments, they bring us joy, fighting gravity until the very last second before nap time wins. Despite the bumps, the falls, and the chaotic moments, their ability to find comfort in each other is truly heartwarming. We love them not for their grace or perfection, but for their silly, clumsy, and absolutely unconditional love they give us. So keep watching, keep laughing, and cherish every stumble, for these are the stories that make our lives so much richer. Thank you for watching Animal Stories 1957. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales from the amazing world of animals.